Evening. My name is Bruce Sander, and I live on Malvern Lane in Stony Brook. I represent the Stony Brook concerned homeowners of about 700 plus members. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the amendment of Chapter 82, Introductory Law 32 of 2013, entitled Neighborhood Preservation. We are in support of the change in the term length of the rental registration from 2 years to 15 months, as well as the prorating of the fee schedule to keep this change consistent. By changing the term to 15 months allows rent renewals to at some time in the near future for all rental registrations to become renewable during a peak use period of time. For college boarding houses, that would be when students are present in September through June, when there is the most activity. For seasonal rentals in other areas of the town, it would cause the renewals also to fall during their busiest times, such as the spring or the summer. This is a beneficial change that will affect in a positive way the entire town of Brookhaven. Landlords will no longer be able to renew their permits during the off-season when there are few or no tenants occupying those rental homes. The change in the fee schedule makes it fair and equitable so as not to unintentionally hurt legitimate landlords who obey the town codes. We thank all of the town board for their support in hopefully passing this amendment. Mr. Supervisor, your staff, Mr. Fiore Rosenfeld, you have and continue to work hard to state your word to eradicate the illegal boarding houses in our area, and we thank you for that. However, there are things that we thought had been accomplished by now, and we're wondering why the town website has yet to show the expiration dates of whole house registrations, and why the landlord's names seem to have vanished from the website. You're all aware of the uphill battle we have been facing, and it's little things like this that can make the difference. Because once we know when these permits will expire, we can help the town in notifying the town of illegal activities before they're granted their renewals. Is the building department handing out the new town codes to potential rental landlords when they pick up their applications for rental registration? And notifying the law department every time an encounter with a whole house registration. We are still moving forward, documenting, cataloging those existing potential new illegal rentals in our neighborhoods every day. As of the other day, we are getting ready to report to the IRS and New York State those suspected of failure to report income from their rentals they receive. We will be consulting counsel on enforcement of our covenants and loss of our property values due to the investor slumlords. As you can see, it may be summer for some, but we are still remaining diligent in getting this mess under control. I will read a recent email which will clarify and paint a picture of what type of people we are up against and why we need all of your support moving forward. This is the email. A concerned neighbor had an interesting conversation with a potential tenant at an address. A student who readily admitted that she and 3 unrelated roommates would be sharing part of a house. They were told by the landlord that the living room is off limits because she fully intends on putting at least 2 more students in this house, and that it would be up to the students to find the additional tenants. Other than the kitchen, the living room is the only remaining common space in the house, and by design, partitioned off, split into 2 more tenants. There is a bonus room off the back of the house that would rent for $645 a month. That would bring the number of unrelated tenants to 7. There would be 1 name on 1 lease, and that would be her responsibility to collect the individual rent from the others. Do you think that a single lease that does not mention other housemates or individual bedroom cost is legal? Is this how they get around for unrelated tenants code, by putting a price on each bedroom? This is on a positive note. I mean, they stipulated that no kitchen appliances are allowed in the bedrooms. The tenant, however, called this restriction silly and wanted it removed. And unless they get a copy of the signed lease, we'll never know what the landlord agrees to. Okay. Could this possibly protect the landlord in the event of multiple kitchens are discovered in the home? Could a court rescind the violation by indicating a tenant acted without landlord's knowledge? The students were in the process of moving in, but did not sign the lease. They were now told to leave the house and have been moving back out again. They believe they lost the box that was stolen in the kitchen. They were warning the other students not to rent from any place associated with Nina Mang. The real estate agent, Julie Chen, Coldwell Banker, Ronkonkoma branch, is using scare tactics with these students, such as, my attorney will be contacting you in the morning if they ask too many questions. In regards to questions of multiple tenants, the agent stated, well, honey, if you go to and broadcast it all over the neighborhood that there will be multiple students, then you will cause problems. These students are being put at risk. They're being the ones actually being sacrificed by these unscrupulous landlords, and this is what's got to stop. I just want you all to know that we are far from winning this battle, but we will not rest until unscrupulous landlords leave our neighborhoods and make their livings off their own backs, not ours. We want to thank you for listening tonight and working towards a better Brookhaven town together. We will break this business model and send these unscrupulous landlords packing. So please vote yes and approve this amendment. Thank you very much.
Mr. Sander? Would you like to leave your remarks at the clerk's desk?
Yes, I will. Thank you very much.
Do we have another speaker?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, one more speaker, Marguerite Tiberia. Ms. Tiberia, I have to swear you in. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, can you please speak into the microphone and state your name and where you're from, and you have 5 minutes to speak?
My name is Marguerite Tiberia, and I am from Miller Place, New York. I have a little bit of a different take on this change to the rental registration period. I've been a resident of the town of Brookhaven since 1989. My family and I have several rental homes in the town of Brookhaven. And these homes were purchased as an investment, and I'd like to mention that the meaning of investment to our family is that the value of the homes increase, not that we are making any money on the actual rental income from any one of the rental homes that we own. My family and I have absolutely no reason to neglect our investment in any of these rental homes, interior, exterior, or the surrounding property. The homes that we have are pretty much kept up with just as similar homes in the neighborhood are. So I'm against changing the rental registration period from 2 years to 15 months. Folks like myself and my family who comply with the rental registration requirements will be subject to additional paperwork, time lost with town hall visits for permit submissions, time lost by both tenants and ourselves as the landlord with coordinating and waiting for inspection visits. Those who currently do not comply will continue to not comply. And here I think we're talking about the neighborhood preservation, just that piece of it. And I'm just requesting that if we could please consider some other options for enabling more compliance with neighborhood preservation. Most neighbors know when a home is a rental. These people will most certainly file complaints if a rental property is not maintained, without waiting for the 2-year rental permit expiration renewal process. Consider notification to adjacent property owners when a rental permit is issued, along with information about neighborhood preservation. The list of rental permits is already public information available on the town's website, so it shouldn't be an issue with notifying adjacent property owners when the house immediately adjacent to them is a rental. If they don't already know it, our neighbors of our rental homes know us. They know which homes we have rented. They call us if there's ever an issue. That can just be expanded by notification to other people. Consider requiring the homeowner to provide the tenant with neighborhood preservation requirements so that tenants are well informed of their landlord's responsibility. They can also be helpful in this when there is an issue with neighborhood preservation. And consider shorter rental registration periods for non-Brookhaven town rental home owners if the majority of the offenders are out-of-towners. Myself, who I've lived in the town of Brookhaven and own several rental homes, I have absolutely no reason to not comply with rental requirements. We maintain our homes, we maintain the property, and we have not had an issue. So I think this is just a burden on those who comply, and those who don't comply will still be under the radar, and there'll still be the issues that the other folks brought up. Thank you.
Thank you. Other speakers? There are no other speakers. Is there a motion to close?
Yeah, I was going to make a motion to close, but before we do, Mr. Rose, I just want to ask, I always want to thank again the concerned Stony Brook Homeowners Association, Bruce Sanders in particular, for keeping this this issue alive and making sure that the residents are ever vigilant on this matter. Clearly, what we need to do, the town needs the eyes and ears of the neighborhood. If something new is happening in the neighborhood, if you see those drywall come in overnight on a weekend, that's the time when we need the call in order to prevent the ever increasing number of illegal boarding houses from encroaching, not just in the Stony Brook area, but it could be throughout the township. So clearly, I'm hearing from my colleague to my left, Sound Beach. I know there's also issues, Mastic and Shirley. So clearly, this is not just simply a Stony Brook issue, but it's the residents' ever vigilance that's going to make us more effective moving forward to stem the tide of this and actually beat back, as Bruce so aptly put, the business model that we need to break down. I see that we've got our planning commissioners come to probably add some comments.
We have our building commissioner who just
Building commissioner.
appeared. I assume he may want to comment on this public hearing. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I thought I'd say a
Before
few
we
words.
close it, we'll hear from our building and fire prevention commissioner, Mr. Haley.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. It's funny, when I was on the Suffolk County Planning Commission, there was a demand at the time. I think we measured about 50,000 units in demand through Suffolk County, and I believe today that still stands. We know that that's a very clear and distinct demand within our communities, not only in other towns, but especially in Brookhaven. And one of the problems we have with rentals being such a demand is obviously one of maintaining some sort of level of enforcement. I imagine there's a lot more rental units than there are that we've registered over the last 2 years. Art Gerhauser gave me a number of 2,763 over the last 2 years that have complied. My concerns about this particular legislation cut across two things. Number one, I have an expression I call compliance leak. We get an awful lot of individuals that come to the building division, to come to their counter, who by some way, shape, or form have been somewhat forced to come there, and because they've already built something illegally, or they need to refinance, or they've sold their house, and they finally come up to a compliance issue. Most of the times with onerous code, if you will, you have people that say they don't even bother complying. Well, my concern about this is as you continue to increase the demands of landlords, and it would probably hold true for any other codes, you're going to get to a point where people are just not interested in complying. They're not going to volunteer to come down and do it because you've made it that much more onerous and that much more difficult. And in some cases expensive, although that's not the case in this situation. But that aside, I just wanted to mention that. This does have a practical impact on the building division. As you know, we've lost 25% of our manpower since 2008. We're in the process of automating, if you will, or re-automating, and we hope to build a lot of efficiencies. But we are stretched dramatically, and Arthur's estimate is that it's going to cost us approximately 2 staff days a month just on the staffing, the inside staff, and upwards of 4.7 staffs of field work with inspectors. You need to know it has a practical impact on building division. And when you sometimes stretch your resources, you have to start prioritizing, and then you have to decide where you're going to put resources. I'm at that point right now. So this is definitely going to be a burden on a building division. Since I've been there, and actually since Arthur's been there even longer, our level of enforcement has increased dramatically. When Arthur first got there were no no inspectors dedicated to enforcement. As you know, we have 4. And the other 13 are now doing violations every day. All of that's scheduled, all of that's part of the workflows that we've worked. No department probably brings in more fines than we do. We're working pretty hard at it, but stuff like this just adds a little bit more of a burden for us and makes it difficult, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that.
Thank you for your comment. I'm sure that since 2008, the amount of construction that is being done in the town has declined dramatically.
Absolutely, but if you look, our permits are up, our revenue is up, because what we've done is we've gone and found efficiencies, we've gone after all of that work that we haven't done in the past. So we're working a whole lot harder now, and we're getting more out of a lot less. When the economy turns around, naturally it'll be a little bit better, but it'll be a strain.
As you know, we're having our operating budget hearings in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure you'll make the best presentation you can for your department and why staffing is justified, and be capable of answering any questions that are asked regarding the allocation of staff. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Haley, I just want to say,
Haley.
I'm sorry if there may be additional burdens placed upon the building department, but clearly, you know, what we're trying to accomplish here is to reduce the burdens that are on the community right now. And clearly, you need the proper manpower to handle whatever additional burdens we place upon you. That's something we're going to have to figure out. We had heard from the chief of staff to the supervisor that he believes, given your current staffing levels or maybe some slightly augmented ones, that you'd be able to handle this additional burden. So the only thing I could say is we wouldn't be taking this kind of action if there wasn't a significant need within the neighborhoods that are within the town of Brookhaven. So I just hope you understand that much.
Now,